Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to queue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. Here we grow again. So grateful to be back with each and every one of you yet again to explore the ultimate nature of reality and ponder perspectives that hopefully help you. They definitely help me to co-create the life that I prefer and to get the messages, get the meaning out of the happenings in life. And actually, I had a thought about that very thing yesterday that I'm going to share here in a moment. But before I do, I would like to give a shout out to JMB93 for taking the time to, talk about something that really fuels my fire to continue this labor of love. Been at it a very, very long time and used to get such a huge amount of reviews and stopped asking for them for a long time. And I realized how much they fuel me to just continue doing this. So if you haven't taken the time to review on Apple, over at Apple Podcasts, please do. It not only helps us to reach new people, but like I said, it just lights me up to get a review like this from JMB93. Says, "Don't blink. I discovered this show a year and a half ago. It's become a daily ritual to listen in the morning, and my 8-year-old even loves to listen and ask questions." Like, that alone, like, just to think that I'm intriguing an 8-year-old to talk about this stuff. Okay, anyway, the rest of the review. Like so many others, the synchronicities have flooded my universe and doors have opened. Earlier this year, I became a level 1 QHHT practitioner, and this show was a breadcrumb to a new timeline. I cried listening to this morning's episode because Brandon was literally reciting lines from conversations I've had both in my head and with other people this week. It's like Brandon grabs pieces from the infinity puzzle and places them in perfect order without conscious awareness of it. It only affirms my belief in magic more and more. Much love to Brandon and Erica, two souls I forever appreciate and cherish. And thank you, JM for taking the time to do that. It means the world to me. And, it's you're right. I mean, it's like, it's not conscious awareness. It's like tuning into the vibration of the information that we're sharing on this episode, and all of us like co-creating and tapping into and playing with. It just opens a portal of possibility for so many overlapping synchronicities. And it's just like, it's wild. Like I'll share one with you. Like, okay, so we did a marketplace for local artisans and vendors at the Mystic Manor this weekend. It was really great. And one of the guys who's a friend is participating. He makes juices, and he came up to me early in the morning and was like, "Hey, I'd love to chat with you. I'm having a little bit of nervousness, anxiousness, because I've had such powerful like synchronicities this morning and breadcrumbs that they're just kind of freaking me out." So he went on to share, what these were, and it was all tied into the number 42. He was like, I mean, it was like, it was a lot. I'll give it to him. As someone who can have some pretty layered synchronicities, it was a lot. And ended with him, he's telling me the whole journey he'd had that morning with seeing this over and over and not sure how to interpret it. And it was sort of eliciting a little bit of uncomfortableness for him. He showed me a picture of this place called Blues Baby Barbecues with 42 spray painted on the side. Now, I instantly got chills because a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was really tapping into my grandmother's energy. And I had a series of similar synchronicities landing with me parking in front of the same place he's now showing me a picture of, Baby Blues Barbecues. So BBB is what my grandmother used to always call me. And it was, so here it is, BBB, really bright, and then not only that, it was 444 spray painted as the address on the curb. You know how they'll do that sometime, which is the angelic frequency and, like angel communication. I've talked a lot about 444 and some of those stories before. And then a little cow spray painted next to that on the curb. Well, I called my grandmother Moo. So it was like a really powerful synchronicity. I might even have told it on the show years ago. If any of you remember, maybe tell me. But I feel like I might have, because it was such a powerful one that day. And here it is coming back up again. And I was like, look, it's so important, the story that you tell around this. You could tell this as, as opposed to something to fear. Like, this is an angelic communication. Let's look at it that way. Let's tell that story. And, and I gave him some thoughts and ideas like, what does 42 mean to you? Look up, angel number 42. I recommend doing that if you see something. You can look up angel number in any, type in Google angel number, and then put whatever number after, and you'll get something, right? Or reduce it down to 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. So we talked for a minute. He felt a little better. I went on with my day. We had an awesome, event. That was early in the morning, right, when it was starting. And then later on, late that night, he tagged me on Instagram, something else about 42 that had come into his field. And it led him, and it was like tied into this book called Mott, M-A apostrophe A-T 42 plus God. And it's like an Egyptian, Mott being the totality of creation itself in ancient Egypt. And this is like common sense approach ideas to living and prosperous life in truth, justice, order, balance, reciprocity, and love. So it was, this book. So when I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like awesome. Like, there it is. If you now are seeing a book with the number 42 in the title, get that. And then I thought, well, with Christmas coming up, we celebrate Christmas with my family, and my son is a voracious reader of, ancient texts and things. And so I was like, oh, what a perfect gift to get Bradley. So I go from my friend, tagging me this evening, seeing the book, and instantly like, oh yeah, I'm going to get this for Bradley for Christmas. I purchased the book. Within moments of that, he messages me right after I purchased the book, I get a message from Bradley saying, wow, Dad, I just did this Oracle card with this, ISIS deck, and I feel like I got a direct message from ISIS, like, here's what it said, here's what the meaning, here's what, gave me this whole thing. He's saying it talks about Horus and the Sun Falcon and all this stuff, all this cool Egyptian stuff, right? And I'm like, hold on, what? At first I thought it was my friend, Bright, as what he goes by, messaging me more about the 42 thing. But then it's like, hold on, no, I'm reading this and seeing it's talking about Egypt stuff. And it's like, hold on, no, this is Bradley randomly messaging me and saying he thinks it's a direct message from Isis herself. On the cover of the Mott 42 plus God book I had ordered moments before is a picture of Isis. Like, the whole cover is Isis. I'm just like, wow, chills, intense. So, the breadcrumbs and the puzzle pieces falling together in ways, like, look at the connection of the synchronicity from years ago to this particular day to what's happening with my son. And like, it's like, how are all these things connected through time, space? It's like beyond what our little little human brains can comprehend. But before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about Function Mushroom Elixir. I originally had the founder of Function on episode 1856 to discuss the incredible healing power of mushrooms. Since then, I personally started taking the elixir regularly, and as someone who is not super sensitive to stimulants like caffeine, I was very pleasantly surprised by the boost and legal buzz it provided me. The elixir is designed to not only increase energy, but focus and libido as well. And it accomplishes all this with a mix of ethically sourced, high quality lion's mane mushrooms, cordyceps mushrooms, ginseng, guarana, ginger, goji berry, rhodiola, holy basil, and lemon. It is also super easy to take in dropper form. So if you're interested in trying out the fantastic Function Fungi Elixir, head over to positivehead.com/shrooms and use code positivehead at checkout for 10% off. What I believe is like every single moment is somehow a reflection connected to, every little interaction, even with someone, is reflected with something else and connected to something else. And sometimes it's really big events and sometimes they're maybe less significant, right? And it's just like wild to think about that, this is, God's encryption in a sense that we're uncovering. It's just like, it really is, as the reviewer, J.M. Bean said, it just only affirms your belief magic more and more, the more you see it and unravel this. So, speaking of the stories that we tell around all this stuff, that's the other thing that I wanted to touch on today, that I was thinking yesterday afternoon, I was relaxing a little bit in my hot tub and thinking, and just kind of came to me, it's like, it's this dance between creating our reality and surrendering to what is, right? And finding the in-between. I mean, I even had the podcast guest a few weeks ago where we talked about this, Julia Mossberg, I believe is her name, where we talked about this in great length. And it's a heady topic, right? Like destiny and free will and creation and surrender and how these things. And I believe it goes back to the sort of relative truths, different vantage points. It's like, what is true? Yes, all of them from different vantage points that there's something larger than yourself that you're a part of that's creating it all, and you're co-creating it, and you have some say, and there's a perspective where, you're sort of riding the waves. And so how do you, as you learn how to control the one thing you apparently can control, your thoughts, right? What do you do with that information? Because this dichotomy of contradictory things it's confusing, right? So I was thinking, well, the recipe I'm finding and have found that works really the best is when it's something that I want to manifest and tap into in my life, I proactively tell stories that I prefer in a like precog fashion, right? Precognitive. I'm imagining, I'm tapping into the vibration of that version of reality where things are the way I want them to be. And I'm always telling that story that I prefer to come in a future sense. Now, when something happens that's now happened and is past, right? So future, it's always this sort of optimistic outlook on and tapping into what I most want to manifest in the timeline I most want to step into. Once something's happened, and let's say it's something that wasn't necessarily my conscious human level choice, okay, how do I address that? What story do I tell with that? And with that, that's where the surrender really comes in, and finding the optimistic angles about the events I didn't prefer. Like, right? Like, okay, why did this happen for me? Even if I'm not seeing it yet, even if it's really painful, knowing, okay, this pain is part of the process. I'm meant to process it. And at some point, even if I can't see it now because I'm maybe, let's say you're really sorrowful about something or really depressed. Okay, I can't see it now because I'm clouded by that, right? But I trust the process that there's a gift here. And so this lump of coal, there's a diamond. I may not be seeing it yet. I may not have found the path to it yet, but I trust that it's forthcoming in divine timing, with my optimistic outlook on all things are happening for me, not to me. So that's really the formula that I found is like, co-creating what's ahead of me and accepting what's behind me in a way with that perfume of optimism around both, right? And if you can accomplish that and navigate like that so gracefully through your reality, you're onto something really, really powerful, really profound, really transformative. Because someone who's operating with that as their base level, you can't really throw them for long, right? And then, of course, the results speak the loudest. Well, what kind of results does that sort of formula and approach to future events, past events, get you? Well, I mean, those of us listening to the show, we've all done it to some degree, or you wouldn't be listening to the show or continuing if it's your first time. Something like that probably got you here, and realizing the power of perspective. And if you've been listening and working on this for a long time, then you've seen the results that it gets you. And that's what speaks the loudest, which to me really lends itself to the truth of using such perspectives to co-create our reality. So yeah, that's what I've been pondering. That's what's going on over here. I hope that is helpful to you as you journey about your week, day, month, lifetime. Maybe you're listening to this in year 2132. Hope it's a good one. Hope it's going well in that other now moment that is happening 100 plus years from when I'm speaking. And yeah, that's probably a bit of synchronicity there for someone. But that's what I got for you today, folks. Thanks, as always, for tuning your beautiful brainwaves, incredible hearts into another episode. And I do have some music for you. This is an artist that I really, really like, and off of an album. I believe the album is titled the same as this song, Odyssey. The artist is Ataya, Atyya. Really, really great song, album. Check it out. Till next time, journey well.